Thank you for coming. I'm just watching it, people like being a bit zombies after the yesterday party, so welcome here. We gonna talk today, but actually with you, and there is a microphone, and you are part of the discussion, and you're welcome any moment to go find the microphone, ask a question, argue with us, throw something at us, and all that. Lera brought a ball to throw at me at some point, so she came prepared. If you have a water bottle, that also works. Right. Anyways, we had a similar panel at Comic-Con Baltics. I had a talk at Login, so with this similar topic. So it's a complex topic, each a huge one. We won't really find much solutions here. The solution is the continuous discussion about what happens with the universities that they produce the junior talent and that struggles to find job in games industry in many ways. And then HRs, they tell that they're open to hiring juniors, but in reality they want mid-level professionals for junior prices, and it's hard. So, right, and I came basically here to rant that nobody wants to hire juniors, and I'm talking here from the perspective of a founder of a startup that sort of helps junior or near mid-level talent to find job in games industries. Right, and if you've seen pigeons around, so that's us. And we have more pigeons. Lera has more. Right, right, where do we go next? So Ingrida, that's the famous professor that was announced. So she's responsible for computer game design model at the local university. I invited her to help better understand how universities see. Obviously she understands what they produce and what they can do about it. And I invited Tanja because she knows a lot about recruitment from her experience at Values Value. So that's a boutique HR agency, and she can advocate for what happens in games companies. Yeah, and again, you, the audience, you are part of this, and you should be part of this. But we start from Ingrida. And yeah, so I feel that university is a place where young people learn how much beer they can drink, and also they find friends. And that's more or less is the only knowledge and useful experience that they get here. Am I totally mistaken? And how do you see that?
Okay. First of all, hello for everyone. It's nice to be there, and it's nice to see your interest into education of game design, game programming, and everything related with the game, and I would say technology's application into the game industry. Actually, your question was quite interesting, yes, about the beer. However, I would say that currently students are not so interested into the beer when they are entering university, because it's a tough, first, it's a tough thing to enter the university. Yes, since you need to take the math exam and all of that, and you need to pass them, so it's the actualities of current day, yeah. But if you enter the university, of course, you need to pass the formal requirements, and I'm the representative of multimedia and computer design study program in Vilnius Tech, and we actually are, how to say, teaching not only the game designers, but also the web developers and web designers, also game designers and game developers. So also they are working with AR, VR technologies, but the main thing, they are engineers. So we are creating engineers of informatics, actually, and they get degree in that. So that's why we are so keen onto the technologies and how to apply them into different areas. Yeah, and since you know maybe that like game principles, gamification can also be applied in websites, and currently even the such a thing from filmmaking, from medium like filmmaking, the narrative is going to the websites, for example, and of course to the games. So actually, all these areas are related. So, but to your question, no, they don't drink just a beer.
Well, first, like, what I hear is that you're saying that you can random people from random models and teach them game design.
No, that's not the case in Lithuanian educational system. We have a study program, we have a specific amount of credits, and we have a specific requirements from government that if you want to be the informatics, to finish the informatics and to get the degree in informatics, you must fulfill the requirements, for example, to pass 3 different maths, like differential maths, matrices, and all of that. You must pass the exam for objective programming, for procedural programming, and all of that stuff. But also, we have some freedom as a study program creators, where we propose some models like graphic design. And for example, my colleague is the famous Lithuanian artist, Meda Narbutaitė. So she proposes this model for the informatics students, actually. Yes, they are multimedia and computer design students, but actually they are informatics students. However, we also have very different models, but all the students, for example, 100 students, they entered multimedia and computer design, and all 4 years they are learning this. Only this course, and it's made of, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 models.
Very nice. Can they get a job?
Of course.
Like as not in McDonald's, ideally, yes.
Yeah. So it depends on their own motivation, of course, as always. So, it depends.
Look, like at school, like if I finish like whatever 11, 12 forms of school, I normally like with only school, right? Like with only school knowledge, I'm qualified to enter the university, usually. Like, I pass the exams, but like usually the school knowledge is enough. As I graduate from university, am I good enough to get a junior position, like a job at a games company?
Okay. I won't provide you the single answer to your question, okay, because it's a complex question. First of all, we need to understand that our study program is quite wide. Yes, it's wide, and different people are entering the study program. And during the study program, one of the main tasks of ours is to let them find themselves what they want to be. Since many students at the first course even don't know what they want to be in the future. So we are doing like the, HR work to help them to find themselves.
But after they finish, not when they start, but when they finish, are they good enough?
I think yes, when they found what they want. Because when they found what they want, for example, they like the game design, the game physics, and game development the most. Then I know many cases when they created startups or groups with their colleagues just to try to create a game, or many of them works in Unity. So it depends on their motivation.
Cool. So
I have a question to everyone. Okay. Who is the client of a university?
Students.
Students. Okay, parents.
Parents, yeah.
Other ideas?
I agree actually with parents.
Parents, yeah. Okay. Who else? Maybe any ideas? Who can be the client of a university?
Government.
Yeah.
The government, yes.
Yeah.
I have ideas. It can be the university itself, if they are very keen in science and further PhDs and researches and getting grants for researches. Maybe someone else as a client? Yes, please? Businesses, yes, wow! The most successful universities I've ever seen in finding jobs and being super popular among the employers are those who have businesses as their clients, and they're business-oriented, and they already prepare future employees. They are not fulfilling this just...
But you're talking about the ideal world.
No, it's not the ideal world. It's Ukrainian university in Kharkiv, the University of Radio Electronics, and it was like that even 10 years ago. What do they have? They have programs designed together with the companies. They have laboratories and courses from the companies. They have specially designed rooms. They have different side courses. They have practices. The diplomas are protected or overseen by the technical leads, for example, and so on and so forth. And they are allowed to have a full-time job since the 4th year of education. So they can have this individual program, they can study a bit remote and work and so on and so forth. And they get really high salaries. And even starting with the first day, lots of companies, lots of IT companies came there to promote themselves, and they had very cool career days.
Right.
Like not every game development conference back 10 years ago was that cool as their career day.
But like from what I hear, you're saying that students can get, like young talent can enter the games industry if they choose the right university.
Yes, and if the university has the business as a client. But as well, I had another example. I was a lecturer at a Kharkiv university, which had its cathedra and its professors as a client. So what they wanted among 100 of computer science students to find at least 1 or 2 who would become PhDs in this nuclear power, something like that, in order to then 7 years design something and help their professor get another grade and get a PhD themselves and so on. And nobody wanted to hire that students. Nobody. Unless they changed their approach to the one that had the radio electronics university.
Okay, maybe I can reflect also.
Yes, please.
Because it looks like it's different in Lithuania, but actually no. Actually no, and because in Lithuania, we are mandatory to have social partners, and those social partners are companies. And even here, I'm searching for social partners for our study program who can tell us what the industry needs, what should be the final thesis topics. And also, like you said, all the students can work at the 4th semester already in the job market. It's a practice in Lithuania that in the 3rd course, most of our students already also have jobs, but it depends what they like and what are their motivations. So actually we are listening to the industry and we are coming here just to understand what they need and to apply that.
And now I
to
feel
the
like
course.
it's a battle which university is better, but the question is what can juniors do? So I actually want to get back to Tanja with a question. So, I mean, you're exposed to so many companies looking for talent. How do they see the junior talent? I think from my experience, talking to HRs, they are lying. They don't need junior talent. They don't want junior talent. They want middle-level talent for junior prices.
I think that you're right. In the majority of cases, but I think that we first need to define who a junior, a trainee, and a freshman is. Because a junior is not just, this is not a case for one day, this is a state. Many companies do not suppose a professional or a specialist a middle unless he has 3 years of commercial experience.
Why years?
Years.
Why is it?
Yes, there are
but
companies.
Why the number of why is this number important? Audience, please correct me. I think the junior is a person who needs somebody to help him or her digest the task, like to split a task into subtasks that one can execute on, can act on. And the middle level person is the person who can understand what's needed to be done and execute on it.
Each company, I think that the industry is totally ununified. And there is no standard even between two companies belonging to the same holding. And the processes, approaches, HR, and people operations are totally different. And especially the grades are different, and the way they define who a junior or a middle is. And in most cases, they have no definition, and there is no role profile which states that with these skills you are a junior. Huh?
Yeah, this is the problem.
Yes, this is a problem.
Universities can't prepare like those students if there is no profile of a junior.
Yes.
How they need to know like what to do with their students.
That is why they cooperate. They mainly cooperate with the companies who have well-built HR processes. And mainly these are very big and already like corporations first, because they can answer at least who a junior, who a trainee is, what is the criteria in order to become a middle.
You've just told that even in the single holding, it's like different from company to company.
Yes, a single and that is why, for example, in Ukraine, there was, in Kiev, for example, there was Persha Studia and then Wargaming, who came there and who were ready to invest in this. Or Playrium in Kharkiv, who were ready to invest in this. And who were like at least a bit well organized and well built from the business side.
So from what I hear, you suggesting that there is some big studio, I don't know, Wargaming, Norcurrent, whoever, who should work with universities and sort of make some standard for that.
But who agree and who are at least understanding what they're doing. This is the problem.
Do you have companies who understand what they're doing, working with you?
Okay, it's a tricky question. We have partners, yes, but mostly we have the associations as a partners. Of course, we have Unity as a partner of our study program, but actually, I wanted to reflect to this thinking about the juniors and what the universities are preparing. Because, first of all, we need to think about that the government, of course, is the one of the target audience who needs students, who needs workers in the industries that are potentially economically profitable. Yeah. Okay. So actually, first of all, they gives us some places for students, and this is the order. How I would say this is the order. And then we should react to the order because they give additional rules how those students should be prepared and what basic knowledge and advanced knowledge they should have. So, first of all. But the next thing is also when they are providing some places for students, we also should think as a study program creators about what will be after 4 years. Because the workers and the companies needs the talents now and here. And for example, maybe after 4 years, those technologies that are popular now and that students knows how to work with, maybe they won't be good enough for the future games and all of that stuff. So we must, our task is not to prepare the student for this day. Yeah, it's to prepare student for the future, that he would understand technologies and he, by himself, understand how to apply his knowledge and the new knowledge and to adapt to the changing circumstances.
What kind of knowledge can a student have if all they have been doing throughout the studies is figuring out who they want to be when they grow up?
They also get skills and knowledge because they have specific models like I said already, programming, game design, game physics.
Okay. Look, I have another take. So, Tatiana, imagine a person doesn't finish university and just sits at home and programs. and for whatever reason, like it's unsocial person, but like with a portfolio, is that person a good hire?
Yes, he or she will be hired. Definitely.
So then why go into university if you can stay home and program and get a job?
Well, university not only teaches you the hard skills, it should develop your soft skills. First, then you get more access to verified like scientific knowledge.
Yeah, but like I'm thinking
knowledge.
about from the company perspective. So like as a company, as a games company, you have like...
if it is a local talent, well, it's very easy. If it is a local talent, it's quite okay. But if he or she wants to relocate like a highly skilled migrant, for example, and get that benefits that a highly skilled migrant gives, and the company wants to use the benefits that the government offers, the tax benefits, like some other stuff and so on, and if he or she has no university education and has commercial experience less than, for example, 6 years. No such opportunity. So, okay, stay at home, work, get 6 years of commercial experience, and only then be open to relocate, I don't know, to the AAA studio you've been dreaming about, sitting at home and learning Unity by yourself.
Maybe I can add one moment. I'm totally agree with you, and actually there is one more point that differs the person who lands by himself and creates the portfolio just for the specific place, and between the person who finished the university, because when you create a portfolio for yourself, you typically are interested into only one main topics, for example, game design, game programming, and you have quite a narrow skills that companies needs. However, if you want to create your own company, game company, if you want to be the manager or to have the higher positions, you need more skills, especially that soft skills like how to communicate in a team, how to make errors and to learn from them. For example, when you are alone, you cannot do that.
You can talk to your monitor. But
and I want to return, by the way, the question that you asked me, I had no chance to answer it in full. So what you asked me about the companies. So there are companies who are mature enough, and we're speaking about this business maturity and organizational design maturity. They understand that the market of the candidates, it doesn't grow by itself. And if they plan to operate and to grow and to be big in 2, 3, and 5 years, and if they do not hire juniors, if they have no trainee programs, then they will have nowhere to take and to hire those juniors in future. And that is why, of course, there are good times and bad times at each company that decides to invest in future. But as soon as they start doing it, they really have very high potential. There are some companies that have juniors as 3 years commercial experience, but mostly in gaming, in the gaming industry, half a year and a half, and a very nice, prominent, soft-skilled and hard-skilled guy or girl is a middle and has a great raise, yeah? That is why, first, the companies who are mature enough, and second, outsourcers, and then small indie studios who have no other option to hire as to have super motivated, somehow skilled guys who are dreaming of joining the games industry. So three main types.
Yeah, I can add one moment also, because, for example, in our university, there is also now emerging the practice that companies, there is not a game company still, but I hope in the future, but giving the scholarships for the students to learn from the first semester in the university, because they understand what's what's the importance of universities education.
So what I like in this discussion, usually everybody blames government and frames universities for not producing good talent. And Tanja is like, companies, what the hell, what are you doing? Do you need more people? Like, you know, like, yeah, do something, like work with anyone, like, you know, get off your ass. But, that's a new framing, and I like it. And is Richard in the room? Because it's his job to promote, to bring this message to local companies. He runs the Lithuanian Game Dev Association. But where I was going, actually, again, to something a bit back to something very, very practical, and that's a portfolio. To get a job, you need a portfolio. After university, you have something.
Yes, you have some.
What is a portfolio? What kind of portfolio is good enough for a young talent? What can you both say about that? And how to get it?
Maybe
and
we can tell what we are trying, what the portfolio we are trying to not to give, but the students that would have after the studies. Okay, so first of all, the studies in our university, the studies are oriented not only to the theory, but also to the practice. So actually, the study program creators, we decided that many of the results of the study program also should produce some of the product. And especially the final thesis should be like in the kind, not only in the theoretical way, but also
like
as
applicable,
a product.
yeah?
Yes, applicable. Yes, because you need to understand how to apply technologies, multimedia technologies into the practice. So that's how we create a space for students to create for themselves the website, first of all, to show their jobs. Then we are creating some mini like game jam where they can create an ideas for the games into the video format, and they can like put this video into the portfolio. And maybe if it's programmer, he may put his code into that portfolio. It depends on what he wants to be in the future and how he targets himself as a specialist. However, we are trying to do our best that after the studies he would have the portfolio. Okay.
I think that the portfolio is a must, and I think that each professional in any sphere and of any level of seniority in the gaming industry who is open to opportunity or thinks that he or she may be open to new opportunities in some period of time needs to have a portfolio.
What is a portfolio?
A portfolio, it depends on your specialization.
No, a designer,
if you're a
programmer.
producer, it's a GitHub. If you're a designer, it's an ArtStation, but not with all of the crap and shit that you have ever drawn.
How many works? 2, 3, 4, 5?
It can be 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5, but in sorted this way that you see the progress. How you've been progressing during time.
If I go to Game Jam, is it a portfolio kind of thing?
Absolutely.
If I do my some university work, is it good enough for a portfolio?
I misheard you.
Like doing something at university.
Yes, it is a university. Your some C++ laboratory work, if you can.
That's a portfolio.
That's a portfolio. Your GitHub is a portfolio. Any open source things for a game designer, your GDD document for the game of your dream, it is also a portfolio. For a community manager, links to the best reactions, to the worst haters is also a portfolio. Anyone can have a portfolio. Recruiter's portfolio is the job descriptions, the job aids, the LinkedIn screenshots, how you approach candidates. So anyone. Except, I guess, the producers.
Yeah, but like...
I'm joking. Okay, I'm joking.
I
love producers.
Can we get something more practical again, like the CV?
Yes.
Like as a young talent, you haven't worked anywhere. So you volunteered somewhere and you finished university and maybe you had like some small side gig at whatever, a basic job. How to package yourself? This
is a landing page or a PDF because so many young talent are like super NDA, they will steal my ideas, oh my God, no. So, okay, let it be a PDF with clickable links located in your LinkedIn page, yes? So here is my portfolio. And there you can have anything that shows your experience. And in order to have this anything, you need to do this. First, game jams. This is the best way to create a portfolio, both online, offline, no matter the pandemic times, or just you are social phobic. Then there are lots of indie game developers who are looking for free of charge support, and this is one of the best ways, especially, for example, for sound designers. Nobody wants to hire sound designers, poor sound designers. How do they get that portfolio? Only by volunteering. So visiting conferences like this and being a volunteer here, taking part in different contests, then always trying to enter any applicable trainee internship program, and so on and so forth. And this is the responsibility of the student, of the junior, of the trainee. And if the university motivates and creates an atmosphere where this portfolio grows and grows and keeps growing, and you can see the progress during the years, wow, cool. If not, it's the trainees or juniors' responsibility, total responsibility.
People, I remind you that you should resonate, not can, but actually should, because we're running out of time, like we're gonna dissolve soon. So if you have something to say, just raise your hand and get a mic and please have a say. And you should argue with us, yes, so Xorba. Hey? Yeah, try it again.
Ross? Okay, thank you. Hi, so my question is kind of topic, but I feel like still might matter for juniors. So what about seniors? For example, like I see two ways how like a company can find senior. It's either growing inside the company, so like, oh, our senior left, you're a middle, you know more than others about the project, so you're a senior now. Or outside, and especially about the outside seniors. How do you feel about some middle programmer with like 5, 7, any amount of years of experience, and he wants to join as a senior, but he doesn't have a high degree, or a master's degree, or whatever.
So you're asking how, like, who should take responsibility for growing senior talent?
Yep, and how do companies feel about hiring seniors without an actual degree in something? Because like some people say that, hey, he doesn't have some low-level knowledge that he might need somewhere, or
that's
whatever.
That's totally off topic, but do you have a one-liner for that?
If you continue looking for a company that is going to hire you without a degree, you will definitely find such a company. Other examples, when a middle plus developer joins another team, for example, a smaller team, and becomes a team lead at once, not just a senior. Yes, there are such examples. Both inside and outside the company. So everything is possible. I know a guy who managed to join a very high position in, I guess, Facebook without a grade at all. 2 months of university. I told him it was impossible. No, it was possible.
Okay, the answer is try harder. But
and be lucky.
But I actually want to pivot your question to the following way. It's often that like people who didn't join your university and just like develop themselves as, for example, a UX artist, but they're like, hey, I've been working for 3 years as UX artist, but I really want to be a 2D artist, but I cannot pivot because I don't have a portfolio. So the question is, what can universities do and what can companies do to help people who have this midlife-ish crisis to pivot their careers and something that they actually want to do? Who is responsible for that? Companies, or should they, I know, get some courses?
Okay, maybe from university side, what we can offer is maybe to try to enter the master studies and to get some specialization. For example, like in our study program, in our university, there is a digital animation technologies and graphical systems. Maybe other universities proposing something else. But I think if you already have a degree, the best way is to deepen your knowledge into the master studies. from the formal education, or maybe to take any off-site paid courses outside.
Do you have a take on that? Like, should the company give its employees the opportunity to pivot?
In the ideal world, sure. And it's the one-to-ones with the manager, it's the access to absolutely different courses inside the company. For example, the classical art, and the sketching and so on and so forth, which anyone can join. And in the ideal world, again, each employee should have his individual self-development and development program designed for at least a year.
Yes.
And if you have a goal, for example, to become from a junior a senior, it can be for several years with some checkpoints. And why not for the HR team or for his or her manager, why not to find an external course? Why not? Okay, we have this one or two guys. Okay, let's ask the rest. Cool. Maybe they want something else. So this is the responsibility of the company if it wants to retain, yes, and to have highly motivated people. But first of all, again, it's the responsibility of the professional. It's only his or her responsibility.
Right.
And again, start from the very beginning, some courses, some game jams, some open source projects, and so on.
So until the very last moment, I felt I was in a HR psychotherapy, but then we pivoted to career coaching. But actually, let's talk about career coaching. How do people know what they can expect from to grow? Is it like HR's responsibility? Is it university's responsibility? Who should do the career coaching for professionals? Or again, is it the professionals need to get it somehow themselves?
Okay, if we talk about the juniors and of course about the students of the first course or the second course, we actually have our analysis about this kind of students. And typically, when they enter such a study program, a wide study program, they don't know what they want. They just know that they have some creative side of themselves, but they also want to get a good salary for the job and to work as IT professionals. I think who of you are such a person who has a creative side and the technology side? Yeah? Me too.
Raise the hand.
Me too. Yeah, please raise your hand. So actually, our students are such a persons, the typical person. However, of course, there are some persons who are totally into programming and some persons who are totally into creative side. For example, they are modeling characters, they are drawing 2D characters, and maybe they are creating user interfaces just there. But actually, during the studies, they get the opportunity to touch everything for a little bit. For the half a year, they get the opportunity to work as a UI designer, as a programmer, as a game designer, as a game programmer, and he can found himself. Okay. That's what our purpose.
You were incoming.
I will jump in because I was studying in kind of the same program, so I have a lot to say about that. Basically, in the end of university, I know how to do everything and nothing at the same time. And that was the result of university. Could I find a job? I don't think so. I didn't try, but but I'm pretty sure that not, because majority of my how they say classmates
work in McDonald's.
Yeah, working somewhere in McDonald's, or not in the game dev industry. So I think this idea of touch everything and learn a bit of everything and nothing at the same time doesn't really work. Maybe. Have you checked from your students?
Yes, actually we checked. Since we are tracking how the carriers, actually yes, we're tracking the carriers through LinkedIn. how our student succeeds. And yes, it's there is some part of them that the first jobs are like the quality analysts and in different industries. However, then depending on the final thesis that they work, because in our study program they work on specific project. For example, to create a game that reflects the how the person into wheels are moving into the game, and to reflect that physics, we give him specific task, and typically they are working later in their career. They are working on the same flow as they worked on the final thesis. That's why when they are choosing the final thesis, the topic for the final thesis, there is such a concurrency to get the best of the thesis that they can to find themselves finally and to get themselves into the industry.
Tanja, polymaths, are they valued in the industry, or do recruiters prefer polymaths or somebody who can say, I'm a programmer, I'm an artist?
Surely the second.
Okay.
Well, T-shaped professionals are welcome. Recruiters hate when the same person applies to 10 different positions. I'm an artist, I'm a game designer, I'm a community manager, and so on and so forth. When I do career consulting, or when I have some public talks or courses on how to enter the games industry, I will say that choose at least one thing you are best of and what you like most. And if we speak about professional orientation, the responsibility lies on parents first, and if the school doesn't create, but in most modern school already create since the earliest grades this environment, and they're searching for the talent and what the pupil wants and what he likes, and then please find a psychologist or find an online thing that who can do this professional testing and for orientation. Very good. There are some. If the university doesn't offer such an environment, please, it's already, depending on your age, your parents or your own responsibility. This is our responsibility to find our talents and to apply these talents. Only our responsibility.
Yeah.
Cool. If the company has such an...
Tanja,
okay.
here we have a line of questions. We have game development professions, but we have service professions for game development, like marketing, PR, brand management, community management. How this person can be can choose only one branch, if it's usual for market to want this universal soldier for all communications?
Universal soldier with commercial experience, of course. If you want to enter the gaming industry, it's the easiest way to choose one strongest skill and to apply with it. Further on, you will have to try different things and maybe switch between. The main thing for you is really to understand what you can do best and if you like it. And if it is connected to the gaming industry, we have a guy who joined Value as a talent sourcer. And this is like a kind of recruitment. But he was really good at PR because he used to be a community manager before in a gaming company. And he became our PR manager. Anyway, he ended up as a narrative game designer because he liked both the gaming industry, he was good at creativity and at copywriting and so on. Now he's a narrative game designer. Why not? The main thing is really to apply your knowledge and just to stick to the games industry if you really love games and dream of creating them. And the path will lead you. But the easiest way It's to choose one thing.
So the problem is that we have 5 minutes left. We have Lera with the ball.
Oh no, it's okay. You can skip
and
me.
one more person behind you with the line with microphone. Like, yeah.
Hi. My question is, will the candidate with the bachelor degree have some advantage on the preliminary stage with the HR, or on the,
for the screening,
filter side?
Recruiter screening.
If these are 2 freshmen, you mean the first?
No, they have some like pet projects or stuff, a little like experience, but
Little
one of them
a year.
less than a year, much less than a year.
Yeah.
One of them has bachelor degree, the other one doesn't.
I think that in the majority of cases, no. No.
And if the bachelor degree is irrelevant, I know, like, I'm applying for a programmer position, and my degree is in, I know, Italy's philosophy.
It will be a minus.
Okay.
But if, for example, for what I always say for the junior programmers, that you may be lucky enough to meet a professional recruiter, and then if you are a junior, please write your hobbies and skills that you have obtained yourself. Once I noticed that
I have a rabbit.
That many of programmers, of skilled programmers, have learned to play the guitar themselves, by themselves. So what does it mean? That they are stubborn enough, they have a goal, they can practice for many hours and do it by themselves without a music school and so on and so forth.
I'm very sorry, we'll jump in quickly. We've been
We need to wrap up.
reviewing a CV of Ukrainians to help them to get the job in Lithuania, and we saw a lot of kind of that stuff, that they've been writing everything they can do, like literally
Lay
everything.
bricks.
Yeah. And there was like
dog.
just a bit of
That
information.
they have a driving license, yeah.
Yeah, like that they're married.
And the wife.
That they're married, their ICQ, everything, but just a little bit of useful information.
She
So like,
wasn't joking about ICQ.
You can use a link to our media boost at InGameDob.Camp. We have it both in Russian and in English. It is how to create a CV for games industry. And
yeah,
it
but
states
when you
everything.
say that like you should post everything, your hobbies or stuff like that, people take
I didn't
it
say
too
everything.
serious.
First, I didn't say everything.
Well, yeah, but like
Second,
people may
a
hear it
junior
like
doesn't
this.
usually have too much to post there. And your hobbies may be, do you have 10 hobbies that
Me,
you
no.
practice? No? Most people have 0 hobbies. If there is a hobby like playing the guitar and you've learned it by yourself, and you presuggest and presuppose that you're going to apply for a skilled recruiter, then you need to put it in your CV.
Skilled recruiter. Cool. Let's try to make a summary. So I will start, and please fix me, right? So what I've learned today is that let's stop blaming just universities or just the government. Let's remember that it's also the company's responsibility to create talent locally if they want to expand and want to hire, and they should invest in young talent inside of the company and outside of the company. So that was the first part of the discussion. Second part of this discussion was that to get a job in the games industry, you as a young talent shall be focused. This is how you get better chances. If you don't know what you like, go explore and try. And you can be an artist, a programmer, a bricklayer, and a dog walker. But put one thing on your CV and see how it works. And
As
apply
a
with one
profession,
thing.
yes.
Anything else?
And it's only your responsibility on how you develop as a student and how you are looking for a job and what you have in your portfolio.
Well, my mouth thinks the other way. Any reflections from the audience? Because we still have 1 minute. Anybody?
Actually, we have 10 more minutes for Q&A. So if you have any question, please.
There were
please ask.
people.
Приветики!
Maybe question is a bit irrelevant, but regarding grading people who want to make a pivot in their career, for example, enterprise developers who have a lot of experience, what you can advise? For instance, I have about 10 years of experience in mobile development, so I saw pretty everything in it, but I have very few experience in game development.
Do you want to become a developer, a programmer in the games industry, or do you want to become a game designer like 99% of switchers?
I mean just technical positions.
Just technical positions. Then you just need to apply and start talking to the companies, maybe for remote positions in order to train, yeah, because if the market is not that big and if you are supposed to work in the office, maybe your experiments with talking to companies directly should be somewhere else. But this is quite okay. Of course, in most countries, enterprise developers earn more than game development programmers. But this is the price they pay for the happiness of creating games.
So if you want to become poorer, yes, you can. Yeah. You can pivot.
And you just need to see. You just need to see the market. So who they're looking for, what engines they're using, what programming languages you need there, if it is applicable, if you have at least any knowledge, maybe take some course in Unity if you are ready to switch, or choose a company who uses your familiar programming language. Yeah. So it's not that difficult. If you were dreaming of becoming a game designer, that would be a tricky thing. But a game developer, it's quite cool.
Regarding courses, I mean some certificates from Coursera and something like that. Does they count? Because as I know, like certificates from Oracle regarding Java, yes, it's so I think it's quite a strong confirmation that you know the language. But what about such courses? Because as I know, Unity, Unreal doesn't have something like
certifications. Well,
no,
Unity
used
to have. Yeah.
It seems it's extremely easy to get.
It's because you're skilled, yeah? I think that it counts, especially, it is really hard. It is a struggle to find a skilled developer. That is why each even small plus you give to the recruiter screening your CV, just, this course, he's interested, cool, I'm gonna pass the CV to the hiring manager. Yes, it is a plus. And you will have something to talk about, to ask questions at the interview and so on and so forth.
You can also put that you played the game that they're working on, like from the software company, or from the games company, and they're like, I actually want to double down that if you're senior, like, you just show up in the room and there is a line, queuing up for you. So, right, any other questions? Not a line? No. Not a line? No.
Maybe a couple of recruiters.
Anything else? Audience? You have a mic, probably.
Yeah. So, my top 20 companies that I want to work into, they don't provide junior positions. Mm-hmm. Will I have any chance applying them without any experience?
Yes, you will, with a proper cover letter and with a really good knowledge of their games and products. Visiting conferences, not stalking the recruiters, but maybe liking their LinkedIn posts, maybe sharing something.
Definitely not stalking. Yeah.
But not writing at 3 in the morning like sleeping. No, not like that. I have updated my CV. Are you still sleeping? So yes, you do have a chance. You do have a chance.
So what approach should I take? Should I apply to middle positions, senior positions? Should I write a letter to HR asking, do you have any job for me?
You have several options. Yes, you can apply. and in the cover letter explain what skills demanded for the middle you already have, and what benefits you can bring to the company, why they should hire you. You can try to talk to an HR and explain why you want to work exactly at this company. And you can also write to the technical person you may follow again in LinkedIn or Twitter, and you really like what he or she writes. And you can also start that slide stalking with likes and comments and questions, and then maybe ask, I'm looking for a mentor, would you become my mentor? And as soon as he or she becomes your mentor and sees that from on daily basis you are trying hard in order to gain some expertise and enter the games industry, next time he's going to hire a weak middle, maybe he or she will think about hiring you as a strong junior.
Tanja, but recruiters usually say like for a year or maximum 2 years at a company. So by the time he stalks him or her enough, she would leave.
I'm talking about the technical person and the recruiter as well. Right. Some recruiters work for years at the same company, and you can try different options, and it's quite okay. Maybe several weeks is enough to establish.
Okay, stalking for several weeks. Look, we have time for one last question. Yeah.
Hi, thank you for talking. I appreciate it. My question is kind of trick. Don't you think that studying in university could break creativity and like way of thinking for people, for example, game designers? And wouldn't be like kind of situations that we get like copied students that will make like copied kind of games, you know? That because in your university they teaching you like in one way, and all of the students will like think in that way.
You can sing now.
Okay. That's my time to talk again. Okay, actually, it's a perfect question, and that I can tell you that we thought about that, and when we are creating the models, we are trying to create, like we said, to create the opportunity to expose your own individual capabilities when you are doing a specific task, and this is why universities, especially, I can talk about my university, but actually I know that this is a tendency, typically are going to the personalized, more like personalized studies. Then teachers, lecturers, professors are not only the knowledge givers, because Google everything and you can learn yourself, yes, but they should work now like mentors who can help you to find yourself, to expose your individualities, and to help you to find yourself. So this is one of our purposes. So yes, we are becoming mentors. Yeah.
I will quickly reply to your question. You need to be given boundaries to know how to break them and what to break. So you need to have some base to know where you can go with your creativity. So it may help universities. Unless they are pushing you that you're supposed to make the same games, then yes.
In our case, we don't push you to do the same games. We are trying that you would create different ideas, different angles to the same problem, and that you would be the problem solver, not just the worker on specific topic.
I think that the risk of becoming rigid at a university is a bit lower than, for example, at an online course designed by one game designer, for example. Yes, because he's going just to propagandize only his or her approach to you, and this is what very often happens with those guys who have completed courses. And one more thing that I feel very tricky about the game designers who enter universities is maths. Do all the game designers and successful game designers need to know maths?
Yes.
No.
Yes, I mean,
Totally
it's
not. Totally not. Well, they have monetization game designers, balance game designers, system game designers, and he or she can be a super successful game designer with zero knowledge of maths, but quite a well knowledge of Excel, yeah? And if he or she enters a university where you have 4 different types of maths, we can lose a very prominent game designer in future. But if, again, he or she is definite about becoming such a professional, I think they will find their way in the industry. I've seen just hundreds of examples. Besides, I guess that everyone, or most everyone, being here and being a part of the games industry had absolutely no opportunity to study any games-related module, at least one module, at their university. Is that true? That almost we had no such courses at the university back then, yeah. And it's now that this is all developing, and I guess this is for better. Of course, this is for better. But each of us is a part of the games industry at the moment.
I am admired by Tanja's energy that she still can speak after an hour of talking, but like probably she's excited about what she does in life, and that's perfect. People in the audience, we were given more time, but like I'm half dead, you're mostly dead. What do we do? Does anybody have a burning question, like really burning?
Yeah, since we have after this talk we have 1 hour and 45 minutes break, so you can ask more questions. And if you're tired, we can wrap up and rate this talk in Pine app.